Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by, and welcome to today's presentation, Top Tips and Tricks for Meeting on Mobile Devices. I'm now going to turn over to our moderator, Maureen Vild, Technical Marketing Engineer, to do the formal introduction of our session. Maureen?
Thanks, Nathan. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Maureen Vild. I am a Technical Marketing Engineer and Subject Matter Expert on WebEx Mobile, and your moderator for today's session. So let me start by saying that for years, professionals like you have used WebEx for your meetings, and we love that you continue to use it every day. We want to help you be more productive and to make getting together and collaborating easy and convenient. Now, with most of us being on the go, it's critical that this capability, this enablement, be extended anytime, anywhere, for virtually any device, with not only the ability to simply join a meeting and make it easy and efficient from wherever you are, but most importantly, to enable you to fully engage. The short of it is that WebEx enables mobile users to schedule, manage, and join meetings using audio and video while sharing and viewing content. However, there are many features and best practices that you may not be aware of that will absolutely enhance your meeting experience. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Gail Batak, one of our WebEx Mobile product managers, who will illustrate and demonstrate what we picked as our need-to-know list and provide some best practices that will enable you to be more productive on the go with WebEx. Gail?
Great. Thank you, Maureen. So today we'll be covering a few things. So basically, who use WebEx Mobile today. We'll also have an overview of our apps. We'll go through some key features, and I'll also be doing some live demos. And then we'll wrap it up, and Maureen will moderate our Q&A. So what does collaboration look like across your business? What are the different types of personalities and use cases for WebEx Mobile? We see people like our executives running around with WebEx Mobile, holding their meetings on the go. As you know, there are a lot of CEOs who are actually managing their business completely from their smartphones. We also have deskless workers, people who work in factories, assembly lines, who need to collaborate and communicate with those back in their headquarters. We see physicians conducting family visits and doing consultations with their patients using their face-to-face video conferencing. We also see salespeople using video conferencing on mobile. They may be taking meetings in their car on Bluetooth, of course, no hands-free, or they are actually in airports, traveling on the go, always accessible with their customers. And then there's me, the working parent, who's trying to balance their family and work life. So basically, I take meetings in the morning with folks on the East Coast or in Europe in the morning while I'm taking my kids to school. Or in the evening, I'm going to pick them up and taking meetings with our Asian Pacific customers and partners. So with that, I challenge you to ask yourself, how do you see yourself using WebEx Mobile? What can you do with our WebEx Mobile apps? So across all 4 major platforms, we've got apps in the Android, Google Play App Store. We have our iOS app in the Apple App Store. We've got the BlackBerry 10 app in BlackBerry App World, as well as a Windows Phone 8 app in the Windows Phone 8 Store. You can host and schedule, join regular WebEx meetings. You can also hold trainings with your mobile device, attend as well, and be panelist. For events, you can be panelist as well as attend events, such as this one. Video conferencing, face-to-face, including telepresence interrupt for that really immersive experience. All of our endpoints work well together. audio conferencing, you can choose to use WebEx audio or use your own choice of a third-party telephony service provider, all leveraging the Cisco WebEx Cloud, which is one of the largest clouds in the world. We also do support on-prem versions of WebEx, and it all works across your enterprise network with enterprise security in mind. So, what are the key use cases that we see, folks, today with WebEx Mobile? They are actually joining through their calendars and clicking on an invite link. And that really takes you straight into the meeting. You don't need to have an account. And if you don't have the app installed, we actually direct you to the App Store to download. Most common way of joining. Another way to join, if you are actually logged into the app, you can see your meeting list. And right from that meeting list, you can either choose to join or start your meeting. And if you don't see a meeting in your meeting list, because if you're not signed into that same site, you can join any meeting, session, or training just by tapping on the Join Meeting from the bottom toolbar. And when you do that, you see the entry for meeting number or personal room URL. So we'll talk more about personal rooms in just a bit. This is sort of a new concept for our WebEx users. Okay, so we've also noticed that a lot of our users are actually not signing in. Just because they are going to their device calendar, clicking a link, they're in the meeting, and then once it's done, that's kind of the end of the experience for them in the mobile app. But there are many benefits to you and using WebEx Mobile if you do sign in. You can see your meeting list, you can start a meeting, and you can schedule meetings. And we'll talk more about those in just a bit. So remember, sign in. You can start your meeting from your mobile device just by tapping on a calendar icon. If you're configured for personal rooms, you will see Enter Personal Room, but if you're not, then you'll just see the Meet Now option to just go ahead and do a one-click or instant meeting. And the other option you can do is start your meeting later. So scheduling a meeting is right from the app. Again, you click on that calendar icon. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick demo. And at this time, if you would like to put my video to full screen, it'll probably help you to see the demo a little bit better. So here I am on the iPhone, and I tap on the calendar icon in the top right corner. So when I do that, I see options for Enter Personal Room and Schedule. I'm going to go ahead and tap Schedule. Right there, you can see the schedule screen. And it automatically populates a meeting topic, your name in the meeting, but you can always change that. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this for later. I'm going to click Save. You can invite attendees by putting in their email addresses there. And then you can tap Schedule. So once you tap Schedule, then you can see that meeting in your meeting list. That easy, it's that quick. This is really helpful and handy. If you've already left the office and you forgot to schedule that WebEx meeting with your customers or partners, okay, so I talked a little bit about personal rooms, but I wanted to make sure that everybody understood this concept. So just in the last 6 months, we've introduced personal rooms. Personal room is your always-on WebEx room. Basically, it's like a static, permanent URL that you can customize. So let's say, for me, abc.webex.com/meet/Gail. That could be my personal room URL. And it makes it that much easier and faster for people to join their meetings. You can share that URL in your email, signature, or even on your business cards. And what does that look like on mobile? You can start a personal room meeting. You can manage who comes in. And once you lock your room, attendees can wait in your lobby when that room is locked. And also, it's now available on Apple Watch, which I will also try to demo. So big tip here, lock the room for private conversations. So you don't want folks to walk in on that one-on-one or your performance review, let's say. So going back to the iPhone, and I'm going to go ahead and do a demo so you can go ahead and put it to full screen again. Got the iPhone in hand. Again, I'm tapping on the calendar icon in the top right corner. And now I see the option to enter personal room. So I'm going to tap on enter personal room. And see how quick that was, just joining that meeting. So I'm in my personal room meeting. And if I want to lock the room, I tap on the More icon in the top right corner, and you see a key to lock the room. Now my room is locked, and you'll see an indicator, a red key indicator, to show that your room is locked. So at this point, if anybody were to actually enter my personal room, then I would actually see this screenshot here in the middle that somebody is waiting in my lobby. And at that point, I can admit or remove them from the lobby. Okay? So the other thing that I wanted to show you was our Apple Watch capability that just released last week. So our Apple Watch app actually has a strong, it's actually an extension of the iPhone app. So if you have our iPhone app that just came out, you also have an iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, you can enjoy these features. So right now I'm actually just opening up my Apple Watch. Navigating to it. Okay. So there's a little bit of lag here. Okay. So here you see my Apple Watch. And all I have to do is tap on Enter Room. So this is the scenario where I've opened up my iPhone. I'm already signed into my iPhone app, and I'm configured for personal rooms. And that's why you see the Enter Room. I'm going to tap on Enter Room, and then here you go. I'm now connected to my personal room or WebEx meeting on Apple Watch. Okay, so going back to the iPhone, joining audio is really easy. One tap. If you can join via telephony or VoIP, depending on your site configuration, if you have callback or not, you'll see call in or call me. Most of our customers will see call in, but if your site has the option for callback, then you'll see call me. You can also join VoIP on Wi-Fi or cellular or mobile data networks. And you'll even see an icon here in the Connect to Audio dialog that indicates whether you're on Wi-Fi or you're using your mobile data. So, some key tips. You want to join the WebEx data portion before audio. This is key to a seamless and easy join experience. So, if basically one of the key things or benefits of also doing that is that you come up in the participant list, and let's say my name, you'll see my name, Gail Batak, and then you'll see whether or not I'm connected to audio right from the participant list. So very important to join the WebEx data portion before audio, so you don't actually look like a call-in user and people can't tell who you are. Another tip, if you're using internet, aka VoIP, please use a headset. It can help to minimize any type of disruption or distraction in your meeting. And if you're on an iPhone, use Auto Call Me for an even faster audio join. So once you click that link, you're basically right in the meeting. Audio gets automatically connected because you've set where you want to be called. So let me do another demo at this time, and you can go ahead and put the video to full screen. Here I am. I'm still in my personal room, and I tap on the phone icon. So here you see the Connect to Audio dialog box, just like you do on a screenshot on the PowerPoint. And I'm going to tap on Call Me. And here you can see the number that I choose to be called at, and I've toggled on Auto Call Me. So once I do Call Me, then it'll call me at this number. This is a first-time setup, but every time after this, then WebEx actually knows where to call me back at. So after that one-time setup, you've toggled on Auto Call Me, you're set to go. Really handy feature, one of our most used features on iPhone. Okay, so video. This is a really important one to keep folks engaged and avoid multitasking. Maureen, she works in Southern California. She's not here in the headquarters in San Jose. So she guess it's a real hard time if we don't turn on our video. She wants to make sure that I'm not multitasking, which I've been accused of a number of times. So video is a great way to keep folks engaged in your meeting. You can send and view others' video. You can switch the camera. If you want to use the front or back camera, that's fine. You can also see content and video simultaneously. You can view the video in either portrait or landscape modes. I've noticed that a lot of folks don't actually know some of the interactions that we have on video, so I'll be doing a demo of that shortly. One of the tips that I wanted to note is that you can preview video before turning it on, and I'll do a demo of that. You can also tilt your phone to landscape to view the video strip, similar to what you see on the tablet. You can actually see it on your phone as well. And you can toggle video so that you can get either more video or more content. It's up to you. All right, so at this time, I'm going to join a meeting that's already in progress with Maureen. So I'm on the iPad right now in another meeting, and I'm going to tap on this video icon, and then you can actually see a preview of what I'm about to send. And I can also switch camera from this view. I can click on Start Video, and at that point, here I am in this first panel sending my video. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you what you can do with this. So this is the full film strip. I can minimize that film strip if I don't want to see everybody and see more of the content. If I want to actually get rid of the video from my view temporarily, I can do that by tapping that minimize icon. I can bring it back by tapping on that little dot again. I know it's probably tough to see. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. So here's Maureen again. If I want to see full screen, I can do that by double tapping on Maureen. Okay, and I can still see a minimized video of myself here. So I double tap that video, and I take it back to active speaker mode. So active speaker mode means that whoever is speaking is who's going to get shown here. And what if I want to move that little box somewhere else. Well, that's possible too. All you got to do is hold down on that box until it kind of bounces, and then you can drag it around the screen. So depending on what's getting shown, where the images are, you can drag Maureen wherever you want. All right. Okay, so other cool things you might not have known, you can actually tap on somebody's video and chat right from there. So lots of cool interactions. I know lots of folks don't actually know some of these, so definitely wanted to take the time to go through that with all of you. Okay, so tips when you're attending a meeting. So you probably have used mute, unmute. That's actually one of the key tips that I would actually have to give folks on the phone. You're on mobile, there's probably background noise. If you're driving hands-free, you still want to make sure that you're muted to minimize any disruptions in that meeting. You can turn on and off video like we just did, view participant list, private and group chat. One of the key things is being able to look at the participant list. And just as you see here in this middle screenshot, you can tell that Ryan is connected to video but muted, and Nicole, who is the host, she's on mobile, and she is she's not muted, and she's also got her video on. So, pretty good pieces of information if you're trying to communicate. And if you tap on a person's name in a meeting, you can go ahead and chat with just that person, or you can chat with everybody. So one of the things that I wanted to also show is that when you're attending a meeting, let's say that there's a piece of that content that's kind of hard to read because you're on a smaller screen. What you can do is actually pinch to zoom on the content and make it bigger. That's actually another key feature gesture that I think a lot of folks don't know that they can do. Okay, so what about when you're hosting? You can actually record meetings using our network-based recording right from the app. So note there isn't a stop option. So basically when the meeting ends, that is the official stop of that recording. And let's say you're on the run and you actually need to leave the meeting, but you want to keep it going. How do you do that? You, as a host, you can tap on somebody else in the meeting, somebody that you trust to manage that meeting for you. And basically you'll see these options to make them presenter or make them host. And you can also mute all, mute just certain folks on the phone. And let's say somebody's in the meeting that you don't recognize that maybe shouldn't be there because you're sharing some confidential information. You can actually expel them or remove them from the meeting. So, tip, make someone else host if you need to leave early. Okay, so content sharing on Android and iPad, really cool, robust feature that we have. On iPad, we have integrations with Box, Dropbox, and Google Drive, so you can easily pull content from those cloud storage solutions. You can also actually open documents from other areas on the iPad, such as email or other apps. You just need to do an iOS open-in. But certainly this is the easiest from the iPad app. You can also do screen sharing on select Android tablets, such as the Samsung Tab Pro or Note Pro. So let's say you wanted to share an application, that's actually possible on your Android tablet. Another tip that I wanted to call out, and I'll be demoing shortly, is the ability to, so when you're actually content sharing on iPad, you can draw attention to a certain part of your presentation by using the laser pointer. And when you're doing sharing, we actually recommend that you use PDF files for the best resolution. So I'm going to go ahead and do a demo of that real quick by passing myself the presenter capability to the iPad. So I'm actually going to be sharing with you on iPad. So let me go ahead and share my video here. Okay. So here on the iPad, you can see this big green Share Content button. I'm going to go ahead and tap that Share Content button. And you'll also notice that we have the recently shared files. We will store those last recently shared files, last 5, according to your site admin policies, of course, to make it really easy to pull up those documents that you maybe share all the time. Especially if you're a salesperson, you're probably doing, the same, giving the same PowerPoint on the presentations that you do. So this really just makes it very easy for our users. So right now, I'm sharing this brochure on WebEx Meeting Center right from my iPad. And if I want to use the laser pointer, I can do that. Hopefully you can see this in the video where you have the laser pointer icon next to the share button. And I can actually use the laser pointer to draw attention to this image here. So you probably can't see me touch it on the video, but at least you can see it on the screen that I'm drawing attention to that particular portion of the document. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pass myself back the ball, or Nathan, if you don't mind passing the ball back. Okay. Thanks, Nathan. Okay. So another key thing that we released recently was Event Center on both Android and iOS. We released Training Center support a couple years ago. And the way that you can register for these on mobile is through a mobile browser. Maybe some of you had seen this today. You can attend trainings or large events. For this event, we're using audio broadcast, so you're probably experiencing the audio broadcast as we speak. You can also host training sessions. You can also be a panelist and download course material. So if there's material for that training that you need to actually read up on before the actual training, you can do that. So if you're attending on mobile today, you can leverage the Q&A. And for me as a panelist, I can actually answer your questions right from my mobile device. So panelist tip, when you're answering questions, make sure to make your answer public if you want everybody to see it. You also have the option to make it private, and I'll show you a quick demo of that. And another tip for attendees, since the audio broadcast will, act as kind of a speaker phone, we advise that you use a headset. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So right now I'm in the event. I am a panelist. And how do I get to the Q&A? So in the top right corner, there's a More, and I actually see a red dot to indicate there's a notification. And you can even see that there's 9 Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And looks like, Maureen, you've answered a lot of questions. Thank you. So if I wanted to answer a question, I can do that right here. And there's the send privately option. So by default, that's off. So that means that whatever response I give, it will be made public. Okay. So that actually concludes the feature and demo section of our presentation today. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my esteemed colleague, Maureen.
Thanks, Gail. That was a great session. We have had lots of questions coming in, and yes, I'm doing my best to answer them. So this time, let me just bring up a couple. First of all, there was a question about sharing content. So there are some users that on their iPad, they don't have the ability to share content. Can you address that for us?
So it depends on what type of account you have. If you are a free WebEx Meetings user, that means that you signed up online, then you actually don't have that capability. This capability is available to paid accounts. Now, if you are on a paid account, there may be some site setting that your administrator has made to disable it. So hopefully that answers the question, and hoping that you can use content sharing soon.
Great, thanks. Also, what happens if I'm in a meeting on, let's say, my iPhone or my Android smartphone, and I transition from a Wi-Fi connection to cellular? What's the experience?
It's actually very seamless. We don't drop you. So if you're on Wi-Fi to cellular, the app automatically connects to those networks for you. We try to minimize as many distractions, disruptions. We want to keep you productive. So that's what we have in there. Now, if you are in a place where there's a poor network, if you're driving, many times there's maybe a spot where there's no network connectivity. At that point, you will drop out of the meeting, but we will automatically reconnect you as soon as we find a network connection. And then you'll get, especially if you have auto call me, you'll get automatically joined back into the audio.
Great. And then starting a meeting from mobile, there were a few questions that kind of came up about there are some meetings that I can start from my mobile and maybe some meetings that I can't. I think we're probably referring to the fact that you can't start a meeting, an event center meeting.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that capability is not yet there.
Right.
Am I getting your question correctly? Okay.
Yeah, but to clarify, I think it's more of a clarification. You can start any meeting that you host from your mobile phone, just not an event center meeting.
Correct.
Right. Here's another one. Can the host mute everyone by default from mobile while still giving everyone the ability to individually turn their mute off or on?
So the option, so it's not that you can automatically mute all, at least coming in, like mute upon entry. I think that's actually the setting that they're looking for. You can go to the participant list and mute all, and then people will be able to unmute themselves individually.
Okay. And if you can just take a moment, maybe share, we'll have video on you, share in that one Gail's team meeting that you were in, if you're still in it, if you can show where the laser pointer is. That was a question.
Sure.
So I actually gave you host control. So.
Okay. So here I am back on the iPad. I'm going to go ahead and share content. So once you're in content sharing, then you'll see the laser pointer. And the laser pointer is right here, right next to the content sharing popover.
Yeah, great. Okay. Let's see, other questions we have. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. So this was just an observation about video. The observation was that my video seems to be better on the iPhone than it does on the desktop. So I actually have an explanation, thank you very much, for that one, which it depends. Well, first of all, you just have to know that the resolution that might be coming across is, let's say, 360p. So given that the iPhone is a smaller screen, you're going to see that resolution much clearer than you will see on a larger screen such as your desktop. So that might be one explanation. Another explanation could be your connection. Maybe your desktop connection isn't as good as your iPhone or whatever it is. So it kind of just depends on the scenario. But that first one is probably a better reason. Let's see, what else? Oh, there was also questions about, you were mentioning the whole in-room, I think you didn't say in-room video, but we were kind of talking about the whole CMR, the collaboration meeting room. So it's not necessarily something that we would bring up in to an end-user type of audience, but I think it's something worth mentioning, which is our CMR Cloud and CMR Hybrid deployment, which brings both WebEx and telepresence together into one meeting. So that was kind of brought up a couple times, so I just wanted to mention that. And if you have any further questions on how you would configure that, you might have WebEx, you might have your on-premise telepresence. You can bring those two together. You can also have telepresence and WebEx both in the cloud, a different configuration, and I would recommend talking to your Cisco rep about that. Let's see, anything else? Let me just check the Q&A. There have been lots that have come in since, oh boy. Okay, I think that pretty much finishes us up for the Q&A.
Okay.
All right, so we can go ahead and go to the resources. And if you have any other additional questions, I'll address that in just a moment. So here for our additional resources, they can be found at most of the WebEx information can be found at webex.com/mobile. We also have a feature summary that's located in our partner community and our customer community. And for support questions, go ahead and use the help.webex. Now, if you do have additional questions, if you're a partner, you can go to our partner community and ask questions there, and we have a whole team of people that monitor both that and the customer community for questions, and we're able to provide you answers. So any additional questions, if we haven't been able to, if you haven't asked any here, you think of some later, please go to the community where we will be happy to help you out there and address any questions that you have. And with that, I will turn it over to Nathan. But before I do that, I wanted to find out, Gail, if you maybe had any last-minute parting words of wisdom to share with our guests.
Of course, I always want to have the last word. You know that, Maureen. So now that you know all this cool information about using WebEx Mobile, we want to encourage you to go and get the WebEx Mobile app, whether it's from the App Store, Google Play, BlackBerry World, or the Windows Phone 8 store. Please use it and tell us how you like it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nathan.
Well, thank you, Gail, and thank you, Maureen. And thanks to all of you for your time and attention today. That does conclude today's webinar. You will receive a copy of the presentation and a link to the recording within the next few days. Once again, thank you for your time, and you may now disconnect.